Unique, informative audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests. As we talk about things we say and do, it happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today, jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See Wha Ah Sayin begins right now.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It is, wow, probably for me the most enjoyable, probably the hardest, time. The good company of Wray Banker for a monthly See Wha Ah Sayin, and I think Wray, honestly, you assemble probably some of the people that this country love and admire the most. And company of Captain Paul Hurlston and Miss Janley Clifford. So before I say a proper, special hello.
A proper hello. A proper good time.
Proper good time. Ray, thank you, man. Good afternoon to you, Ray.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for doing that little Uber. Doing the Uber today.
No, man. and I don't think that the public, increasingly, with respect to our guests, understand not just Ray's acumen, his diligence, his persistence, but and see how he blushes, he gets embarrassed. But
you be like shoveling.
No,
shoveling.
No.
You need a shovel for all of that stuff.
No,
you've been throwing my way.
I keep telling you that right, Miss Janley, we don't sing the praises of
it's
our
true.
people.
That is true,
right?
too. Yeah.
And Ray, I don't want to kiss and tell, but I couldn't get him out of my house on Sunday. I said, Ray, leave, go to your family.
You need to remember that next time. Next time you invite me over.
He's so diligent, and it doesn't matter the day, it doesn't matter the hour. He's going to work and work and work and work until this thing is done.
Boy.
And it's amazing, man.
All the people say otherwise.
Yeah, well, they don't know you. And Camp Paul, that work ethic that we see exhibited thankfully, in some of our younger people, can't really say Ray is necessarily young, but I would like to honestly
tell that to my body.
Yeah, well, he got good training because, excuse me, his father and grandfather, they were all good, sturdy, hard-working, honest men. I know both of them.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you joining us again. And Miss Janley, again, as we get into the discussion, thank you so much, ma'am, for coming over. We know that, you have a lot, despite, presumably being retired, you're still doing a whole lot. So thanks for taking some time and coming over and joining us this afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for having me. Ray, I'm sure that I think I remember both of you at 9 years old.
Okay, we gotta go to a break.
Take a break.
In grade 5.
Oh Lord, I forgot all about that. I hope you don't remember my first day.
Always good boy.
The first day wasn't good for me yet. Anyway, so what we talking about is Swanee.
Yeah, let's focus, Mr. Ali.
No, okay. Let me just introduce. If you haven't heard the ad and stuff, the subject matter is Swanee Shipping Company. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's what we talked about off air, and basically why we came up with a topic is everybody hears about national bulk, and it was a major thing in our history. But Swanee Shipping Company gets missed out. So we hope today to kind of put it in context, I guess, give it the credit that it's due, and so we're gonna, Swanee.
Well, Captain Paul, from that perspective, we've just with you alone, and the amount of stories that we've heard. I use the word deliberately. That paints a wonderful picture of our people, of the things that we've been involved in, whether it's early wars, whether it's recent events, whether we're helping out our neighbors because there's a challenge. But there's this thing within our DNA almost, and I'll be careful giving fish on these comments earlier.
Yeah.
But
that's another show.
Captain Paul?
Yes. Well, I'm one of the late ones, I wouldn't say late ones, because a lot of people do not know Swanee Fruit and Steam. That was when I joined it in 1947, the 28th day of January 1947, at the age of 16 years old. I joined the motor vessel Truxton with Miss Genevieve's husband, Charles Clifford. He was the chief engineer. It was a Norwegian captain, and all the rest was more or less from Cayman, and a few from Honduras, but most of the crew was from Cayman. But Swanee played a big role in Cayman. Now, they didn't recruit men in Cayman, but if you could get to Tampa or Key West, they would. Most certainly you could get a job, because it's hundreds and hundreds of men. That was a stepping stone for most of the people who migrated to the United States. That's where because the agent in Tampa was Humphrey and McGregor, and he was also agent for H.O. Marion and all the boats that used to travel to Tampa. And so once you got there, and it should be a monument made in Cayman for him, for Humphrey and McGregor, and the chief immigration officer, Mr. Nelson. I don't know his first name, but I can visualize him right now, because if Caymanians ever had a friend, it was him. Because when the boats came in from Tampa, the Antares, the Mercor, in the later days, Arbutus and all that, he came down himself. He boarded the ship himself. And he would always give you 29 days. Things got progressive worse after a while, you know. But at first he would just give you 29 days on your own. And later it became that you had to have if you didn't have a job, you had to have a letter from some company saying you would, would employ you, something like the same to do here. And
so he would just take you on his word.
Yeah, he would take. At first, he would take you on his word. When things started to get a little more complicated, he had to get this letter. So Humphrey and McGregor, the agent there, they was in contact with agents for Swanee, and if they didn't even have a job, they would still give you a letter, and he would accept that, and because he was like a huge man, and he was. You with somebody you meet on the street, you wouldn't speak to, because he looked so hateful. I love to use that word, but he was nice. But not many of us left around that work for Swanee that can clarify, because I got the names of I can't Captain Ducan Phillips. Chief Engineer Rudy Garvin, David Parsons, Mike Nee McLaughlin, Janet Clifford, Bird. I hope you don't get mad with me calling him. I can't even remember the pet name he calls him now. And yours truly. That's the only one that I know out of hundreds of men that is still alive.
We're going to ask the public to call in and contribute some names and stuff. I've done it online a little bit, but maybe if people can call in, people know Swanee.
I would like to know. I would really like to know. I'm quite certain is some people from West Bay, because there was more West Bears than with Swanee. And
we know they had to get into everything.
Yeah, but how they became there, because the Commodore captain was from West Bay, Captain Willard Borden from Mount Pleasant, and after he retired, Captain Cromwell, Thomas Cromwell, his Cromwell, Ebanks of the days, he took over, and but hundreds of us there.
I feel sure West Bay had more captains than any other districts. Yeah. That's what it seems.
Even if they weren't.
No, Captain this and Captain.
But that's the thing. I can name several of them. Was Captain Temple. He was in the Grand Manan. Captain Cleveland Borden was in the Cananova. Captain Dudley Yates was in the Dalkey. Captain Benson was on the Whipple. Captain Cromwell was on the Pine Ridge. And
And like you, Captain Paul, these are men who bona fide captains. They've went to sea, did the test, the examination.
They're not North Sound captain.
I forgot Captain Chester Parson, Captain Thomas Hennings,
and it's amazing.
Captain Shaw in there. Yeah. But let's sort of get back to the thing, the name Swanee and where it comes from. Let me just start to establish a little stuff here. It came from Swanee River.
Mm-hmm.
Swanee River runs from South Georgia or through South Georgia into Florida and somewhere near the Florida Panhandle.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's also a Swanee, Georgia.
I know.
Yeah. There's a Swanee, Georgia, and it is said to lead into the bays and inlet of Swanee Sound. And that's in between Tampa and basically Tallahassee. If Tallahassee was on the coast, it would be directly in between Tampa and Tallahassee. And it said in the 1780s, the secluded bays and inlets were rendezvous points for pirates. So maybe that's how Caymanians knew about it. And the name Swanee, and then there's like about 3 different spellings. I realized I think I misspelled it when we did your exhibit a few years ago, the Swanee Company. So it's spelled, or one of the spellings is Suwanne, and then there's a Suwane.
See it right here.
Yeah. Which one is that? Yeah, that's using the 2 N's and E. Yeah, 2 E's. Yeah. So, and it said it came from the Timucuan.
How you say that?
I don't know. I don't use it too much in my Timucuan Indian. This is what they are called now. That's what they're gonna be called now. The river is sacred to their sun god. The word in their language, Swanee, spelled Suwani, means echo river. And then some think it means deep water or crooked black water. Or another name they have is, Dwayne, help me out here.
Would that be Gusakaka?
UK, yeah, that could be good. Gusakakwa?
The river of reeds?
Yeah. Is that Esque? Is that river? River of reeds. And or they think it's a corruption of San Juani, Little St. John. So you got all of them. So it's really, really clear.
Yeah. That makes it fun to research it.
Yeah.
It is.
You know how long I took just to get the name spelling right, to try to search that, Google search that? Let me tell you.
All right, so we can set the stage because we try to be in charge, but we forget and be reminded quickly. And Miss Susan is. So we take the first break. When we come back, we'll continue. Miss Johnny, always excited to hear your stories, and who knows what we'll learn today. Yeah. All right, we invite the listeners not only to participate, but listen intently. Stay tuned for more. See what I'm saying.
There are plenty of reasons to be a Logic customer. There's lightning fast internet connectivity. There's the great overall customer experience. And now, you can improve your Wi-Fi connectivity with Logic Boost Wi-Fi for free. With Boost, you can extend your freedom to stream, game, and download seamlessly anywhere in your home, like your patio or your underground lair if you have one. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
540 months.
16,425 days.
394,200 hours.
45 years.
That's how long we've been committed to serving you, and we won't stop there. Over the years, we have proudly grown with Cayman, making a difference in the community. That's why we're here, to stand by you.
We are Cayman National.
And we thank you for standing by us for 45 years and counting.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Are you a natural performer? Can you sing, dance, or play an instrument? Are you known as a gifted comedian? Older persons who can do a star turn are invited to call the Department of Children and Family Services on 949-0290 today. Sign up by Monday, 30th of September to be one of the acts to perform in next month's big stage event on the 10th of October at the Hawkwill Theatre during Older Persons Month.
How would you describe Wha Ah Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. And I say this hopefully with great respect, but certainly it is with a great sense of pride and admiration for our history, but also for our people who are willing to share. And in the company today of Miss Janley Clifford and Captain Paul Hurlston, Ray, I believe...
Experts in Swan, I would say. I mean, is there anybody else? That's an expert.
Oh, okay, I'm not...
No, I'm just saying, is there anybody else who would say there's an expert?
All right, so you go right ahead to talk to me. Because
so we were talking a little off air about the company itself and who owned it. And I want to find out what a Cayman connection, since there were so many Caymanians, like what percentage of, you would say, Seaman were Caymanian on it?
I'd say 90%.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like the Southwell years after Swanee was a bigger boom, but then we had less people living here before that too. So Swanee was really one of the companies that it would be on everybody's mind. You'd be talking, if you talk about seamen and where they're gone with Swanee.
And
they're gone to Tampa to join Swanee.
So you go Tampa first, and then on, because it was based in Jacksonville.
Yes,
Jacksonville, Florida. So
I've
got it founded in 1933. That sound about right?
That sound about right.
And the owner was what we talked about. Is it William Lovett?
W. Lovett.
Yeah. So I think it's William R. Lovett. Let me get to the. Thought I had it right there, but me and my great organization skills here. Yeah, owner William R. Lovett of Jacksonville, Florida. He was a financier and an owner of the Winn-Dixie chain. And you talked about, you met him, and he was Piggly Wiggly also.
Yeah, Piggly Wiggly, Witt and Lovett and Lovett. It was three companies, grocery he owned. Piggly Wiggly, Winston Lovett and Lovett.
Wow.
Before Winn-Dixie.
Wow. And I think it sounds like the reason he got into the shipping business was for the fruit. He needed fruits to supply, particular bananas. He needed to supply his stores, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was told. That in those days, the big United Fruit and Standard Fruit chips, they didn't call into Florida, didn't come into Florida. They went to
straight to New
York and New Orleans and Baltimore. And he was needed bananas for fruits for his business, so he decided he would. And I believe that Captain Willard Borden was one of his first captain, was instrumental in helping it. And also during the war, the
Second World War.
The Second World War, the trade went down because the government took over the ships, took the ships over to run rum from Puerto Rico and Santo Domingo and Mexico. They were run by the War Shipping Administration during the war. And
so to touch on that now, it was first called, when it started, I guess in 1933, Swanee Fruit and Steamship Company.
Yes.
And then it changed. Another name was Swanee Fruit. It's the same thing. Swanee Fruit and SS Company. SS being Steamship
Company.
and then also Swanee Fruit and Vapor Company. Well, that's the Spanish. You've actually got it on your license, vapor on your license, but that just means steam.
Vapor, yeah. Vapor.
And the reason that's in Spanish was because it was registered under Honduras when it first started off.
Yes.
And I remember you saying that your Honduran license was really great.
Yes. It cost the whole $25.
Wow. And you could get so much done. It was so respected.
It did the work. It did the work.
All right. Well, we do have a couple of callers join us as we get more information and involve our listeners. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I think your subject this afternoon is a good way of connecting, Caymanian history, since we're in this celebratory period of Caymanian history.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tuned in. I caught a couple of names that I think was the captain mentioned there, but I think another guy who's 96 years old now, who I am almost sure he sailed with Swanee, was Captain Wray. Captain Wray Ebanks.
I think so, yeah.
That ring a bell, Captain Paul?
Not to mine. I know his brother said. I know who he's talking. I know who he's talking about. He probably did, but I don't recall him. I know his brother. I can't recall his name. I know because he was. When on some of the Liberty ships, when they sold the Liberty, the Greek bought the Liberty ships. This guy stayed on there and he learned Greek. I sailed with him after that. Carlson, Ebanks.
So you can't really say it's Greek to me then.
No,
yeah, sir.
Yeah, and some of the other
opportunities than we could ever imagine.
Yeah,
that men at sea would get into.
Yeah. Sorry.
Some of the other companies that also Caymanians sailed on back in those days, because there was Tat, and the Banana Supply had, I think, at one time 3 or 4 ships.
What's the first one? Tat?
Tat. Yeah.
That was. I worked with them too. That was the owner of it. It was Caribbean shipping, fruit and steamship company, but the owner was Tat, so everybody knows about it. By Tat. And his ships is the Santa Maria, the Santa Patricia, Santa Rosa, Savannah, Paulili, what the other one? Santa Cristina. That's the one I got burnt down on. I was burnt down on her.
And then there was a company operating out of Nassau by the name of Simonette.
Simonette, that's right.
Yeah. They had a couple of ships that Caymanians sailed on, and of course there was a 3-bay line. You mentioned somebody mentioned Lovett, but Arthur Winding Davis, one of the biggest Southern Florida financiers. In fact, you still see his name. I still saw it a couple of nights ago on television. He had 3-bay line, which Herbie was chief engineer on it, and Herbie Hyde sailed, and I know he sailed with Swanee. Capital was captain. Captain Glidden was captain on the 3-bay line, and Guy Ebanks was on there with Herbie. Engineer George Hyde, and even Raleigh Ebanks, who is still up there in Tampa somewhere. So it's a lot of those companies, and some of the names that I remember one time, the Pine Ridge came through Cayman.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was we have somebody that was on that. Is it? It's
Captain Cromwell used to be on the Pine Ridge. I got the names of all of
Pine Ridge. I got that also.
Was the Warden, Whipple, Truxton, Dalkey, Pine Ridge, Cananova, Sylph, Gaspé County, Solarina, Grand Manan, Barbara, Cubahama, Vanda, Arctic Reefer, Paris Island, Bedloe, Jackson, and Oakwood.
And these are all ships.
That was the banana boats. And the LSTs was the Romana, the Samana, Macoris, Patuca, Bonito, Macala, Rosario, Barbara, Casablanca, Dolores, Daytona, and Augusta. And the name of the Liberty ships, Sam Truth, Sam Connor, Mitchell Palmer, Donna Madsen, Rebecca Boone, Norluna. And then had two little Lakers, the Empire State and the Buckeye State.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of Caymanians on the Bahama and the Whipple. And the reason why I remember the Pine Ridge coming through here was, I think I was 6 years old, maybe 5 years old at the time. And she was here over a weekend because I think they came to pick up a crew or ship some people. And I wanted so much to go board on that day. But my mom wouldn't let me go out in a catboat with some other friends, so I never did get a board of it. But, I knew Captain Cromwell quite well. In fact, his son, who passed away about 2 years ago, he also sailed with Swanee. Because he related some incidents during the war when he was working on some of the Swanee ships. And so it has a great connection with Cayman. And I think somebody mentioned about a monument to Mr. Nelson. But Cap, I think there's two other people that might have to go somewhere in that monument on the side is Mrs. Witt and the other lady on the other side of the street. I can't think of her name.
Miss Hugh, Miss Fannin, Miss Hugh. That's where the colored, the colored people used to go, and the white people, down on Jackson Street. You know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, Jackson Street. Well, I went down there a couple of years ago, trying to find where Miss Witt's house was at, but it was. Everything is high rise down there now, like you see happening here. You can't even recognize it, and which is going to be what's going to happen here. But also a couple of other companies that employed a lot of Caymanians was the United Fruit and the
Standard Fruit.
Yeah. In fact, I think it was Standard Fruit or United Fruit that cut down the Vita Louise.
Mm-hmm. That is right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Caymanian history connected with the sea, and I think that's a good way of connecting it all up. And hopefully, Banker, you have a transcript of what this program produces written out, so that you can put it in the schools or put it somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
That's just an addendum to the program here.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's what I was thinking, at least for the seaman names and stuff that we were listing out. That we would review it after and get those.
Yeah, that's part of his not just intent, but resourcing and commitment by those who would release and authorize. Say it no further. Anything else you want to share with us, sir?
Well, just that both Paul and I have visited schools and on this topic. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about Paul, but I haven't been asked for a few years now.
Same here.
Yeah.
And he says the same.
That'll change. We have to take a break, Ms. Susan. You sure we can hold on? Okay. Thank you, sir, for that. We have another caller. Respectfully, just hold on. We'll join you right after the break. Stay tuned.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
I'm going to Vamp Motors to test drive the new 7-seater Rush.
They have some really sweet deals going on now, not true?
Yep, on SUVs. And they sweeten the deal by giving you a warm oven-baked cookie with each test drive.
Better test drive more than one, just to be sure.
Take a test drive for a sweet surprise this month at Vamp Motors. Test drive any SUV and receive a freshly baked cookie. It's our way of saying thanks for dropping by to check out our huge sale on every SUV in stock. Save up to $4,400 during Vamp's summer SUV sale. That's every SUV in stock on sale for thousands off or cash back. Sweeten the deal only at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road.
The Cayman Islands Cancer Society presents Conquering Cancer 6. Let's fight cancer together. This event will offer you information about new and innovative ways of screening, diagnosing, and treating cancer. Come and learn from the top medical professionals from leading healthcare providers from near and far. The event takes place at the Marriott Beach Resort the 21st of September. This interactive health fair is free to the public of all ages and will include free healthcare screenings for glucose level, blood pressure, BMI, and cholesterol, as well as free health food samples.
Radio Cayman invites our listeners to join us on Sunday, September 22nd for a live broadcast from Hillside Chapel in Cayman Brac. Radio Cayman will bring the local morning worship service to you live starting at 11 a.m. on 89.9 FM and 93.9 on the Brac and Little Cayman. Radio Cayman, celebrating 43 years of service to the people of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman 3 to 6 mix on the weekdays. Brought to you by
Cayman Insurance Center, serving the community for 45 years. Don't take chances with your family's future. Call Denise Brown at 814-7229 or Michael Webster at 925-5433. Fitness Plus and Train with Dre. Getting in shape has never been easier with the mobile fitness app by Train with Dre and the new Eco Power Sport Art Equipment.
Every day.
Every day.
All the time.
All the time.
Visit fitnessplus.com for more information.
Also brought to you by Merengue Town.
It's time to feel the rhythm. Time to feel the vibe. It's time for Merengue Town.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
So much for joining us. We caught
her this time
in the studio
with
Ray Banker, we have the wonderful company of Captain Paul Hurlston, together with Miss Jan Lee Clifford. As we continue the discussion, let's maybe go back to our phones, Miss Susan.
Yeah.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Topic is Swanee.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how are you today, my friend?
Okay. Question. I think it was a guy by the name of Mr. Pore that I don't know exactly what happened to him, but he had to walk for a far distance on the reef.
Yeah, that's Andrew. I think Andrew Power's story, 1932 storm.
Hurricane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a hurricane.
Yeah.
Andrew Power, his name was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks very much. You know, again, an important part of our history that bits and pieces by, if the caller don't mind me saying, you know, because he's like our age, right? Younger generation. Sometimes we don't remember.
So I'm all confused now. I'm in between.
He also worked with Swanee too.
He worked. Andrew Power did.
Yes.
Jeez, we really do have to do this transcript after.
Yeah. So with the idea, I mean, many people know, maybe because of the prevalence of say national bulk, and but Swanee for some reason, as we get into the discussion, well, I'll ask that question in a second. But let's just go join this caller. Miss Susan tells us to join us from the Brac. Hey, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Captain Paul and Miss Janely. And to all our listeners, Raymond Scott here.
Hey, Mr. Raymond, how are you, sir?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Very interesting story. I know quite a wealth of information about the history and about the shipping companies who Caymanian seamen work for and various things. So if you...
we were kind of lacking on the Brac, the names for Brac. Do you have some of those?
Names for Brac?
Brac seamen that were on Swanee.
I don't know of any people that work with Swanee.
Okay.
I don't know of any here on the Brac, but it's probably sure is. But I know various other companies. I know that Caymanian seamen, first of all, National Bulk Carriers, Universe Tank Ships, New York. They were the number one employer and the biggest employee of all Caymanian seamen.
Afterwards, right?
Yeah, after Swanee.
Yeah, after Swanee. Correct. And we also had Caymanian seamen that worked for Moran Towing Company. And then Caymanian seamen worked on Navios chartered ships with national bulk carrier ships chartered to Navios, and also Sealand Container Company. Also Canadian Steamship Lines. And we had United Fruit Company, which is now Chiquita Brands, that transport the bananas. When you see the label Chiquita Brands, they're the new owners of United Fruit Company.
Now, when it comes to like Swanee, because you have a wealth of information on many things, you don't have much information on Swanee.
That is correct. I can't say of anyone, any seaman on Cayman Brac that I knew that worked for Swanee. But if there's anyone listening in, please come on the radio and let us know what you know about Swanee. There are several seamen that listens into the talk show. And I want to tell you all something very interesting. We have a Cayman Island flag supertanker, which one of the biggest in the world, flying Cayman Island flag, registered in Georgetown. Georgetown painted on its stern, passing here tonight, and the captain is his wages is $13,000 US. So today's seamen are getting highly paid, well paid.
I think Captain Paul said he might go back. No.
Yes, sir. That's good wages. That's very high wages. That's great.
I didn't make
anyway,
that
my
in a
brother,
year.
Captain Radley Scott, I want you all to tell me if you know, but I did an extensive inquiry into who is out there as a Caymanian seaman. I have only found that now, presently, Captain Radley Scott, which is a mooring master for TK Shipping, the Canadian Danish company. And he's the only Caymanian that we can find out about that is out there actually active, because Captain Harris McCoy, the mooring master, has retired, and Keith Walton, chief engineer from Cayman Brac, and we just don't know anyone else from a workforce of roughly 3,000 people about 50, 75 years ago, gone down to only one.
Kind of like what we've seen in Cayman here, but anyway.
Yes, and I wonder... the Maritime Authority, Cayman Islands Maritime Authority, with the registration of so many ore carriers registered in Grand Cayman, bulk carriers, tankers, and number one registry for the yachts.
Okay, caller. All right.
Hello?
Yes, sir. We seem to have interrupted there. You there?
Yes, that's the unreliable cell phones. It's like the VHF. You just can't talk anytime you need to talk. Yes, you're hearing me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, if those shipping companies that have ships registered in Grand Cayman, if we had a navigational school to train people and liaison with those shipping companies, say, look, we can provide seamen, trainees, or cadets to join your ship as boatswains, whatever, on the ship and work their way up how they did in the past, that we can get something going again, because Jamaica has a navigational school graduating students, and a ship passed here 2 weeks ago with 7 Jamaican seamen on it. They're increasing very fast with Jamaicans working on ships and Caymanian heritage of seafaring. We need to get this thing reestablished, and there has been people calling me from Grand Cayman, parents of youngsters, say they hear me on the radio and what I do, and they would be interested in learning and getting to go to sea. So that's good to hear that. I think 4 different people in Grand Cayman have called me, said that their sons was listening to me and wanted to contact me and find out. And there's something that can be done to actually get something rolling and something started to get Caymanian seamen again in the world, like how they were the most popular in the world one time. Like this ship today is passing here. It has Ukrainians, Indians, and Filipinos on the super tanker. It's got 26 people, a crew of officers and crew of 26, 3 nationalities, and flying the Georgetown Cayman Island flag. So that's something that I would really like to see with all efforts from our people to get something established to train Caymanian seamen, Caymanians who would want to be seaman. And look, it's quite an adventurous journey. They say you're being paid to see the world. To see the world, you have to pay to go on a cruise. But Captain Paul, you know, when you were out there, you went all over the world and you were being paid. And then you got to learn all these things about cultures of the world and see the ports. It's super interesting. And like today, it's a shortage of seafarers in the world. That is so many ships that are being built and launched.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is. Miss Shelley?
The topic of a navigational school, to me, has been a dream for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall hearing or attending at least one meeting where it was discussed from the Seafarers Association.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe this interest in can be rekindling and that whole thing. But all right, so thank you so much, sir, for sharing. And we've got the news, Miss
Thanks for
Willow.
that. I hope he comes back with some Swanee seaman.
We'll talk more about the Swanee when we come back, right, Campbell? All right, stay tuned.
I know quite Linton Tibbetts was one.
All right.
Captain Clinton Foster was one. Charles Cocornell. It was two McLaughlins, Jacob McLaughlin Sr. and William Jake McLaughlin. Both of them I sailed with. They were cooks, stewards and cooks. And Baldwin Foster, John Conley.
These are all the Brackers.
The Brackers. I know work for Swanee. I sailed with them.
All right. Let's see.
So you can verify them.
Oh, yes, I can.
So if there are people come to the Seaman thing and want their... Never mind.
Baby. All right, when we come back for the news, we can tell you more. See, this is the history, and this is the love that we celebrate. Stay tuned, please.
Swanee.
Radio K-Man. Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
This evening, more than 100 men, women and children are set to shave their heads and contribute to a special cause. Hannah's Heroes Big Shave for the St. Baldrick's Foundation is in its 7th year as a fundraiser for children with cancer. The event began in 2012 in honor of Hannah, the daughter of Cayman residents Gayleen and Nigel Meeson, who faced a difficult fight against brain cancer. Hannah turned 12 on Wednesday, and we're told she's doing just fine. His Excellency, the Governor, Mr. Martin Roper, will officially open the event at 6 p.m. today at the Whittier. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Indonesia's president has delayed a vote on controversial new laws that would have outlawed sex outside marriage. They'd gain a lot of attention online, with the Australian government updating its advice for tourists heading to Bali. Now President Joko Widodo says the new laws need more consideration and has delayed next week's vote. And Canadian researchers say they may have identified the cause of a mystery illness which plagued diplomatic staff in Cuba in 2016. Some reports in the U.S. suggested an acoustic attack caused U.S. staff similar symptoms, sparking speculation about a secret sonic weapon. But the Canadian team suggests that neurotoxins from mosquito fumigation are the more likely cause. The Zika virus carried by mosquitoes was a major health concern at the time. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
The dreams of tomorrow stem from the seeds we sow today, whether purchasing your first parcel of land or planning for your future home. These dreams are more than possible with Cayman National by your side. Now offering 100% financing on land loans and home mortgages with only 5% down, up to 35 years or to retirement age. No commitment fee. For more information, contact a personal banker today at personal.banking@caymannational.com or call 949-4655. Plant the seeds of your future today with Cayman National. Terms and conditions apply, and the offer ends September 30th. Cayman National is pleased to advise that they will have a lending officer at their Cayman Bay locations Mondays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
Aw, look at you, killing it at this parenting thing. Ever had a moment where you had a horrible day at work and you overindulged with alcohol? Or when you spoke out loud about how badly you needed a drink, not realizing your child was in the back seat? Parents, you have a significant influence in your children's decision to experiment with alcohol and other drugs. Let's reduce underage drinking and substance use amongst our youth. It starts with one conversation. This message is brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman. For more information, log on to ndc.ky.
Radio Cayman invites our listeners to join us on Sunday, September 22nd for a live broadcast from Hillside Chapel in Cayman Brac. Radio Cayman will bring the local morning worship service to you live starting at 11 a.m. on 89.9 FM and 93.9 on the Brac and Little Cayman. Radio Cayman, celebrating 43 years of service to the people of the Cayman Islands.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us, and certainly the excellent company of Captain Paul Hurston and Miss Jan Lee Clifford. Now, number of calls. Let's go to the phones first, Miss Susan. All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for sharing. How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, blessed. I was actually accused of being handsome earlier too, so that's a great day.
No, that's somebody delirious.
Okay. My husband is a seaman, and he told me to let you all know Black Arthur Ebanks from West Bay. Yes, the Black Arthur Ebanks that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Ebanks and Ori's brothers also been in the Swanee, Inslee Heights, and Miss Sarah son J.D., and Captain Shelby, and he said he know Captain Shelby was there with Sir Vassal brother.
Yeah, Mr. Noel, yeah.
Yeah, and he said there's many more, but he just can't come to mind. But those was the few men that he wanted to mention. Okay?
Well, if he's on Facebook or anybody, his relatives on Facebook, we're trying to do a list there, starting there too, like Old Cayman and Cayman genealogy, but we can take your number too.
If off air, Susan will be willing to take number so that we can contact you if that's okay.
Okay.
Just follow. Hey, thanks for sharing.
Thanks for that.
Really appreciate it, man.
That's what we need.
Yep, Captain Paul.
Well, there were so many West Bears that I could name. Because she said Black Arthur, but that's Mike Norman Bush. Son, I know her. Me and Mike sailed together. I sailed with old Mike. In fact, it's a big story about poor old fella. Because a guy hit him in the head one night. We tried to throw him overboard, but it wasn't successful.
Wow. These are the stories you don't hear in the history books.
It would shock you.
Yeah, there's some things that you hear and you don't know to what extent, do you present it and so on. So we have a clip from the National Archive.
Yeah. It turns out it's kind of a long one, so we might edit it. But it's Mr. Henry Ackerman, and he's born in 1908. So he's 90 when he's recording this. So take that in mind when you're hearing it. And he doesn't. Well, he sailed on Swanee also, but he doesn't talk so much about Swanee in it. But I wanted what it took leading up to getting on to the Swanee ships and stuff. And there's also ties, our last show, Willa Farrington, on it. It's my good curation there. So, yeah, Susan, go ahead.
Dr. Roy McTaggart, them two brothers, they used to be there, they had a store there. And the Rembrandt belongs to them. And Captain D.D., the Oscar, he was captain of the boat. And Swanee then opened up. He had some small boats there that he used to run bananas from Honduras to Jacksonville. And from Jacksonville, they used to go to Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo run bananas, you know. So I went over there. I went over here from here with Mr. Robert Ebanks. He was captain of a boat. And we went over there to the Keys, and we caught a load of turtle. And came back here, and Mr. William Feinstein, he bought a turtle from us. My I don't think Ding was only had Glennis and Rupert and Daphne, then I believe. I don't think the main party had born yet. But anyhow, I used to have this bad pain in my side, you know. And Dr. Horton, the English doctor, he was here at the time. And Swanee had all these little boats now running from Santo Domingo to Jacksonville, from Honduras to Jacksonville, but bananas, you know. I had about six of them boats. I was on the Solarina.
Sorry, what was that name? What was that name?
Solarina.
Solarina.
Okay. And went over there and caught this little turtle, 100 turtle.
That's all right, you go.
Caught this little turtle. When we come back from over there, they sold the turtle to William Feinstein. 1 pound a head. They had 100 turtles, but they lost some on the way from there, from Nicaragua to here. Some of them had died, you know.
Died on the way.
So I guess we got about 90, I guess, we sold. And how he gave us a pound, you know what, pound shilling pencil, a pound,
sterling,
pound a head, 1 pound a head for the turtle. So I was married, had a little house, you know, right further down here. It was a 10 by 12, 10 by 12 house, you know. I got them times I got some little scrap of lumber and built up something. Yeah, that me and my wife could live in there with the children, you know.
That's all right.
And through them 10 years there, we stayed there, and then I come.
So you sold the turtle to Mr. Willie then?
Yeah, sold the turtle to Mr. Will Feinstein. And he, and my wife had took up some things from the store, got some credit there from the store.
Right, while you were away.
While I was away. We shared 5 pounds. 5 pounds we shared. So my wife, what she took up had came to 2 pounds from Mr. Willie. So I told him, I said, Mr. Willie, I want you to do me a favor. I said, I understand that Swanee Company there is opening up, Swanee Company is opening up, getting some small boats there to run bananas, and they're taking men from Cayman there. So I would like to give me all that I have coming to me, that I can pay my passage to go down. He says, Mr. Ackman, he says, I give you every penny you got so you can get down there. But anyhow,
so that you could get over there to go on the Swanee boat.
Right. I went to Dr. Horton, and he says, I had his pain in my side. He says, Mr. Henry, he says, you have a chronic appendix. He says, you expect to go to Florida, then you get him like a doctor see you. Well, on my way down, pain inside, pain.
On the boat, so you left then and you still had the pain.
Right. On the way down to you. So from here, went to British Honduras, to Belize. The captain had to go through to pick up some sprouted coconuts. to take to Tampa. So the consul, the American consul was there, and he told Captain Dede, if anybody he had their figure to get off in Tampa, they would have to have a visa. Now, mind out the evening that I paid Dr. Marlin, my pastor £10 was spending money them days too. I know how to pen in my pocket. I was going there, leaving there, after I paid him off, with not a pen in my pocket to go to look a job, and sick with appendix. When I got down to British Honduras, the consul told Camdita that anyone that expect get off had to have a visa. And I said to Captain Dede, I got no money. I haven't had to go back home. So he said he would lend me $5 American dollars. It was $3.50 for the visa. Well, he was good to me like that, you know. And I got a visa and went to Tampa there. And two boats got in at that time. Cam Dede and Mike Cher was on the Antares. Cam Dede had 15 men was there going to look a job. And when we got in Tampa, then the immigration took us in one by one. Not two together, one by one. Asked a question. How much we pay, or how much we cost, or passing cost. But you see, they had, Cam Dede told us what I was telling. We told him that we was the member of the crew, you know.
Oh, okay.
And then...
So that it didn't look like you were getting off to stay.
No, you had to told everybody, told him that. But then the company from Jacksonville called down to Captain Dede, told him all the men that he had brought up from Cayman, they would use them. So finally, we went up to Jacksonville. And then when I got there, beside Keenan, and went to the agent, and he said, I know what I did because Horton told me there was the appendix, you know. When I went there, he said, the agent there, Banatri, his name. Banatri. Yeah. He said he couldn't stand the responsibility of the operation because I never worked for them yet, you know.
So you were going to get medical aid before you became an employee?
Yeah, you see, what we're doing is I had to get an operation because I couldn't work like I was pain, you know. And finally, old Willie Jackson, God bless his soul, him and another captain there, they didn't know much about me. The other captain was from Cayman too. They said they would stand responsible for the operation. And the doctor operated, took me in the hospital and operated on me. They got a cut there as long as that.
Those days they used to cut through the muscles too.
These days, some little thing you see. And he cut me there, and he said it would be about 6 weeks before I would be able to work. Well, the captain, Willie Jackson, he was the captain of the Salrina. God rest his soul, I said. He was so good to me. He didn't know who I were. He knew I'd seen me before. He knew I was from Cayman. And I told him from Cayman. And after the operation, he stood responsible, him and the other captain, for me to get an operation. And after the operation, then he took me on the Solarina with him as bosun, you know. That I wouldn't have to do no hard work, you know. Just give orders to the crew, you know.
So how did you get from Tampa to Jacksonville?
We took a bus.
Okay.
Took a bus.
The company paid for that?
Well, we paid out of our own pocket, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw a fella. I bought a few dollars from a fella I knew from. I saw him there in Tampa, and he made an offer that he would lend us a few dollars, you know. And after we got to Jacksonville then, because it was already the company put us then in a hotel, Ocean Street Hotel. And man, I tell you, punched that pain myself. But anyhow, I made it.
So after the operation, then you went out with
Yeah, after the operation,
Jacksonville?
the captain took me on the ship, as I say, with him, you know. And then he made me do a little light work. And
So you were running from Jacksonville to...
I was running from Jacksonville, Florida, to Baracoa, Cuba. And then Santo Domingo. And used to Honduras. Different ports will go to bring bananas, you know, in a small boat. And you know...
So how long were you with Swanee then?
I was going on that trip. Them days, the people didn't even know Cayman. You didn't know nothing about Cayman, you know. We had to buy a post office order. Money, you know. And when I go now to mail it, they will ask you, where's Cayman? If that's someplace in Jamaica. If someplace in Jamaica. We say no, there's a place down below Jamaica, western Jamaica. And they couldn't understand it, but they had to go through to Jamaica now. And then be weeks then, you know, to come down on the boat.
This was to send money home.
They prefer to come through, go to Jamaica, then to come back home. Yeah, it would be weeks before they would get the money, you know. Weeks before they get the money.
So while you were doing that, if that was 43, the war was still on, Second World
Yeah,
War.
the war was still on.
So that was Henry Ackerman talking about his little stint with Swanee, and more importantly, what it took him to get onto the Swanee Shipping Company. All that he has a inflamed appendix all that while, and that's how much he had to go Belize and all that stuff before he got to Jacksonville, and all that drive to get to Tampa, then Jacksonville. How long all that would take? Would that weeks?
Weeks, sometimes months.
Wow.
you
With a flamed appendix.
You know, after 45, and all those guys came from Trinidad, came back home. They didn't waste their money. Then there was nothing doing in Cayman, so they chartered our mistress to go to Belize, because all the little it was dozens and dozens of banana boats in that trade. He used to stop in all these.
Yeah, it wasn't just Swanee Company that was doing
No,
bananas. Tons of
many more
companies.
Companies. Some of the little boats only carry about 3,000 stems of bananas or something like that.
And I think I saw somewhere where you had to have 10,000 just to get going. But you're saying because of the wastage and all that?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
To make it worthwhile.
And I said the people, the men used to go to Belize and wait there till these little boats come in, and they would sign on. Sometimes they were in Belize 3 months waiting on the chance to go, because they wouldn't overcrowd the boats with the cat would only take 2 or 3 at a trip at one time, so the immigration didn't get suspicious of what was going on. and that's because I can name. It was Keith Frederick from Nassau. I know Harry Hansen from Georgetown. Sidney Martin, Alan Thompson, quite a few from all over. All over. That's where it took much.
So his story wasn't a unique one.
No.
Well, aside from the appendix.
Yeah, that's where we did it, and it was in Tampa, Miami, and Jacksonville. It was every day was at least 4 or 5 of those little boats in there discharging bananas.
And chances are Caymanian was on board.
Oh yes, because out of Tampa it was Hamilton Brothers, and Hamilton Brothers, they had the Sea Spray, the Bambito, I can't remember all of them. But there was plenty of Caymanians worked with them, and Carl Soy out of Nassau was plenty of Caymanians worked out of there, and it was it used to be she was flying Canadian flag, the Gulf, and she everybody tried to get her because Swan was paying $80 a month, and they were paying $135. So everybody would try to get her. Wow. I know Persian Mary. I can remember Persian Marion was on her for quite some time, and
he started on Swanee also. Persian Marion.
I don't know if Persian worked for Swanee, but I know he was on the Gulf. Thomas Hydes and Aubrey Ebanks, he was on the Raxton Kent, I believe. Auburn Miles was on the Raxton Kent. It was hundreds of us around there. Because
it's like tons of Caymanians, and there wasn't really that many Caymanians in existence.
That's right.
They were in other jobs. Just seen it.
It was nothing there doing in Cayman. It was no job. There was no. I can hardly believe it myself. How and believe me, it was some of it was rough, because those old boats were rotten and rough, and
some of them were like 40 years old. Seems like
more than that, and not only that, but you were on your own. You never had nobody to take care of you. And
being started at what, 16? And
yes, you were on your own, and you had no like how
swim or drown.
Like national, but they when they took you from here, they took care of you. You didn't have to worry about getting something to eat, somewhere to stay or something. But
sounds like Swanee was kind of rough. Was a bare bones.
They were bare bones, but you were happy to get it. We were happy to get it, and they were one of the better companies, because they were. I started at age of 16 for $80 a month. Wow. That's the same as the men 40 and 50 were getting. I got the same, but I did the same work too.
Wow. 40. A call, Mr. Ray?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon. I'm listening to your talk about the Swanee Shipping Company, and I know that Mr. Captain Paul, I have a feeling that he went to see on the same Romana and Paris Island with my husband.
My husband on the Romana also.
You did, Captain Paul?
I was on the Romana, but you got to tell me who your husband is. So.
Yes, I'll tell you in a minute. His name was Joris Poldavart.
Oh, yes, I sailed him twice.
Him, right?
Oh, yes, he's a Dutchman. I knew him very well.
Just the other day I was looking through some papers, and I happened to find all his seaman stuff, that he had to have here in his papers. And when you started to talk about it today, I said, well, let me go and see if that was the same one that he told me that he was together on with you. So I just wanted to tell you that, but of course he's deceased now. But I'm speaking on his behalf. If he was here, he would help you with the stories, but he's not here.
Yes, I sure appreciate you calling in. And he was a good. I say we sailed twice on the Romana and also on the Daytona.
Well, he said, well, I don't know if you went on the Daytona. I heard him talking about the Daytona too, but I don't see a discharge paper for the Daytona. I only see one for Romana and the Paris Island.
Yeah, he was on the Daytona. He was second engineer on the Daytona.
Yeah, because he was on he was Romana and Paris Island between 1952 and 1954. Then he must have went to the Daytona after that, I guess. Mm-hmm. All right, I thought I'd give my little contribution on his behalf.
Thanks for that.
All right, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon.
You too. Bye.
Miss Charlie.
And just Dr. Harder's name was mentioned. Our good Dr. Harder was deaf. And whenever he came to a patient, whatever complaint the person had, he would ask one question. What did you say? Pain in the belly.
I forgot. I heard he was deaf.
Good thing was a pain.
Everything was pain.
All right. But now, when we look at this whole, and you shared, Captain Paul, that it was rough. Now, Mr. Stanley, you...
No frills.
Yeah, no frills. You have an experience that is unlike many. And as you continue with us today, you share as you wish, you know. But for the younger folks in particular, those of us who can maybe think back as we listen stories from our parents or even our grandparents, and maybe even our uncles specifically, I wonder what we're thinking as we kind of reflect on some of those stories. Your perspective, Mr. Stanley, is it as bad as some would imagine out to sea in a wooden boat, or is it as glamorous as some try to paint today and say, we make it?
It was not glamorous for the wives or the girlfriends.
Go ahead. All right.
It was by no means glamorous. But what the outcome was, the farewells, awful. But when the homecoming, at least 2 weeks, preparing, baking cakes, getting everything in order, it would be so exciting. They're coming back home. But it was a way of life, and we got through it, and I think that it made us better people.
So that resilience, that resolve, and maybe some of those other stories, Paul, when we come back, we could revisit this some, and then Majali, maybe some of those other ones as well.
Going up the Mongo River.
Yeah. All right, so Miss Susan, there's a break, and then there's some other stories that I'm anxious to anticipate. And Ria, are we ready for them? Yeah. All right, when we come back, please join us.
We at The Wharf have the only multi-purpose conference room in Cayman, providing high-speed internet and all state-of-the-art audio and visual, and are now open and ready for your meetings and events. Multiple wireless microphones and Dolby surround speakers make your presentations on the giant screen clear and interactive. Imagine your meetings with a view, a full bar and kitchen on site where all your needs are cared for, just a few steps away from the Caribbean Sea. All F&B will be customized to your preference. Call 949-2231 or email info@wharf.ky to start planning your waterfront meeting now.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Attention all gamers. Get ready for the return of the Caribbean's #1 esports event and gaming convention this September 28th and 29th.
That's right. Gamers Bay 4, now a 2-day event. Going down September 28th and 29th, right here in the Cayman Islands.
If you think you have what it takes, you can compete for over $15,000 in cash and prizes. Compete head-to-head in Fortnite, Apex Legends, FIFA 19,
Here we go, the best players of the world,
and Super Smash Bros.
Special celebrity guest gamers and YouTubers. Drifter, Fangs, Queen of FIFA, and Team Martin will be in attendance.
There will be lots of free gameplay for PC gamers, console gamers, mobile gaming, and VR.
For more information and to register yourself or a team, visit gamersbaycayman.com.
Proudly sponsored by NetGeeks Media,
Mountain Dew,
C3 Pure Fiber,
Papa John's,
Department of Tourism,
Ministry of Education,
Kimpton Seafire Hotel,
Dolphin Discovery,
Cayman Turtle Setting,
Hurley's Media,
Suzuki, Margaritaville Beach Resort, and Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman 3 to 6 mix on the weekdays.
Tune in, turn it up, listen.
Sponsored by the Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football. Savannah Pharmacy. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs. And convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Every day.
Every day. All the time. All the time.
Ultimate party show in the afternoon. Radio Cayman Super Jam.
Stay up to date with the latest in healthy living and fitness trends every Saturday morning at 9:30 and Wednesday at 7 p.m. For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Most clinics in the United States, they kind of like one surgery fits all. You're saying, that's not necessary. That's not going to be the case with me. And that's good to hear.
For the Health of It is proudly brought to you by
Cayman Fertility Center. Advanced technology to provide patient-certified fertility care. Call them at 233-0770.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as we learn more about the history, we start to realize how much of it is that we don't even know. We're grateful for the
We realize we don't know nothing.
Yeah. For always, Ray Banker's incredible insight and interest and diligence, and together with Captain Paul Hurston and Miss John Lee Clifford, we got a view. Ray, as you go through.
I wanted to touch back. We talked about the owner, Mr. Lovett, and a name we hadn't really mentioned yet was Fraser, and you had talked about that, and we were trying to find out the connection. Why Caymanians were so integral in Swanee. Like almost every ship had a Caymanian on it, would you say?
Oh, yeah.
So, and we tried to find what the connection. This is Jacksonville, Florida. What's the connection with Cayman? So there's a Fraser. What is his first name? Mr. Leslie Fraser. And you said he's known as a well-known personality in the shipping circles. He was president of Fraser Fruit and Shipping in Cuba, manager director of Maple Leaf Shipping in Montreal. He had a lot of experience running banana boats, and with the president of
Santo Domingo.
Santo Domingo, Trujillo. And so it seems like there's a connection there. But there's another one where the Collister.
Louis Fraser, she was named Louis Collister. When he bought her, he named her Louis Fraser.
Okay, and then, hold on, he in turn sold her to Webster, a J.W. Webster of Kingston, Jamaica.
James Webster.
James Webster.
Came from
So he's James Webster's a Caymanian.
He's
a Bantowner. So that may be part of the connection. That was in 1942. James Webster and the whole Webster states and all that.
But the Fraser bought her back after that. He owned her the second time.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like, was it maybe 37 he bought her, and then 42 sold her again or something like that. So, but Collister, was that boat that you went on?
No. She was a sub chaser during the war in Trinidad.
Wow.
There's a lot of Trinidad guys who came out of sail on her when she was in the Navy during Trinidad, because she was named. The Collister, Southern Lady. Her name was the Southern Lady. I don't know if that's her first name, but when Webster bought her, she was named the Southern Lady, and they renamed her the Collister.
I don't think she was an old boat. She was built in 1911, it seems like, in Scotland. And he and Lovett met because Fraser sold bananas to his supermarkets, and that's how they met. He died pretty young at 57. And that's kind of when it seems like that and the Trujillo was assassinated for Santo Domingo, and that kind of seems like the time when it changed. Hold on, what to give you when that was? That was like 62-ish.
62?
Yeah, 62. So I think that might be the time that it's changed from Fruit Company. They seemed like they didn't have as much connections in Santo Domingo after Trujillo died.
And so that might be the time it changed from took the fruit out of the company.
Well, Fraser, he was a big man. He lived. He resided in Miami, you know, and he was supposed. I'm told he was the consul general for Dominican Republic. So
and you're saying he was a Jamaican?
He was from Jamaica, and he bought a lot of the boats from the. Because after the war was a great surplus. That's why Swan bought all the LSDs from too, surplus for little or nothing.
The Liberty ships.
Liberty ships and everything. And he bought them, I'm told, for $1 a piece from the Navy for the... no, I'm getting mixed up somewhere around there. But he bought them and sold them to the Dominican Navy, because some of them were guns, and it still had guns and all kinds of things. So that's how Trujillo built up his navy for using for that. He had several banana, because there were small boats in those days. You know, it was only United Fruit and Standard Fruit that had large ships. Because. In Puerto Barrios, that's the United Fruit used to load part cargo in Cortez, Taylor, and then come to Puerto Barrios and finish up loading. And it was a lot of Caymanians working with the United Fruit too, and Standard Fruit, Leeton Parson, Taylor Harris. They used to be on the Cherokee, and I forget the name of West Bay. He was Frieza, and Ronald Parchment was on the Platano, and it was hundreds of and coming to Puerto Barrios, you know, it was a long dock there on pilings, and the smaller boats used to tie up close to the land, but the bigger ships was up, and the warehouses was out on the end where the big ships were. And they had an earthquake there. And that it was not really L-shaped, but it was had about a 30-degree angle on it. And that part of it where the cargo ships used to discharge, that all disappeared in an earthquake. That's why they had to move the seaport down to Matia de Galvez, just a few hundred, a couple of miles down in the bay. There's a big bay down there in Guatemala.
So the point you're making with that, you're saying that the construction type of construction is susceptible to earthquakes, and that's kind of what they're proposing.
That's what they're proposing to do here. It's the same thing.
Wow.
And we have our earthquakes here too,
we
you
do,
know.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't tell you what year, because I was not running there at that time, but I've been there afterwards and seen the destruction.
Wow.
So that's like the same construction they talk about on pilings. That's what happened. They can check it out if you think I'm not telling the truth. Just check it out.
Experience right there.
Send it to the paper.
Sorry. Well, Miss Janely, now I have to say, I don't know if personally anybody, any of the wives that got to go on the ship with their husbands. Can you tell us about that experience? How did you manage that?
Well, my first trip.
Somebody got in trouble.
Off Cayman was I went to Jamaica with my third sister, who got married to an American guy she'd met here, Hazel, and he had gone to Jamaica trying to get a job. He was an engineer from the States with Jamaican mines. Anyway, I accompanied her now when he proposed to her and said, you come to Jamaica and we'll get married there. So my parents said, well, you'll have to go with her, because I was married then. My husband was on the ship with Swan from Trinidad to Guyana. So I didn't tell anyone, but I had it in my mind. If I get to Jamaica, I'm going to Trinidad from there.
So how did you arrange that?
And that's what happened.
Was that
I did go to Trinidad on that same trip. Then I didn't come back home like I was supposed to.
So we're not actually that bad, you know. You hear them all. We're not that bad.
Just listen, take notes.
And what years is this now?
That was in 1953.
So you were already. You said you got married in 51. So
51.
you were already married then.
Yeah, and I got married in 51 in November, and my husband went back to sea. Money's finished now, so he has to go back again. Paul knows about all that. So he went back like the middle of the year, and then in January 54, I went. Sorry, I got the dates wrong. In January 53, then after he went back in 52, got married in 51. He went away back to sea 52. In 53 was when I went to Jamaica with my sister, and like I say, from there to Trinidad, 54, and we lived in Port of Spain. It wasn't. I didn't feel like a total stranger because I met with Gladys Bawden, CB, Clifton Bawden's wife, and she had Jewel and Marie, her two small children. So for me, coming from a big family, it was like, it wasn't such a trauma. I wanted to get to Trinidad, but the two of us went together, and we stayed in a boarding house at the beginning, and then about a few months we rented our own place, and the Samana Paul was in every week from Suriname with bauxite. So we were going on to Shakaramas once a week, and I even remember the taxi guy that took us every time, Ross. You remember?
So were they? You mentioned that one family. Were there other Caymanian families there? Did you remember?
Yes.
Some other ones.
From West Bay.
It was plenty.
It was
especially from Cameron Brack was plenty. Cameron Brack.
And that was the same thing. The families living over there.
Yes, because Captain Theo was, I believe, some of his children were born in Trinidad.
Captain Theo.
Yeah.
Theo Bawden.
Yeah.
He used to be a port captain in Point Lisa, Point-de-Paix, Trinidad. Was Trinidad leasehold those days. He was there. Captain Theo was down there, and all
John Bothwell. The boys. Two of the boys were born in Trinidad. John and Sarah.
I can't give you that data, but I know that he's definitely one of the people
They
from
were in
Swanee.
Trinidad. Well, my oldest child, Kathy Gomez, she was born in Trinidad.
But we still accept her as Caymanian.
I know.
So how long did this last? How long were you in Trinidad? And what did you?
I came back home then in 55. 55, sorry. Came back home in 55.
That's 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 years. Now you gotta. Do we have enough time to? Do we have a break? Okay. What we're gonna do is take a break first, and then we come back. We'll get more of your story, and we'll play a clip. Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's back. And this year, it's bigger and better than ever. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents PACE, the 8th annual Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life, 5K walk, 10K run, and introducing the all-new 15K ride event. That's right, parents, kids, young and old. Come out on Sunday, September 22nd at the all-new starting location at the all-new Jasmine Building,
adjacent to Coconut Joe's parking lot.
Also, participants who raise the most funds can win one of our 3 grand prizes.
$250 for third place, $500 for second place, or the $1,000 grand prize. Other random prizes will be available on site.
So Cayman, it's time to get active. Sign up today at caymanactive.com/pace. Be a part of the 5K walk, 10K run, and the all-new 15K ride event.
Sponsored in part by DART, CUC, Cayman Water Company, the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Consolidated Water, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, Water Authority Cayman, Borden Holdings, BF Insurance, Cineco, and the Maples Group.
Work will soon launch Jobs Cayman, an online system that allows registered users to access job postings created by registered employers. This system offers a better approach to facilitate Caymanians in finding employment and allows employers to search for qualified and skilled Caymanians who are seeking employment. For more information on the registration process and what you need to register, visit www.worc.ky. Work, leading the pursuit of full Caymanian employment and economic prosperity for all through service excellence.
The Breeze Fusion is back Saturday, November 2nd. Bigger and better. Now featuring a 5K walk run and a 10K run for half marathon trainers. Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCVO. Save the date or register now at caymanactive.com or at Radio Cayman Studios. Registration is only $15 if registered by September 30th. And all early registrants enter to win a Cayman Airways voucher. The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run. Saturday, November 2nd.
How would you describe Wha Ah Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Ray Banker does, an incredible, amazing work, and this afternoon with the good company of Captain Paul Hurlston and Miss Jan Lee Clifford. Swanee, I was looking at, just quickly doing the notes, doing a break, some of the notes, but also some of the text messages from some of our listeners. But lots of stories and a clip, you said, Ray?
Yes.
From the archives again?
We'll have a clip. Yes. Let me see what we call it. This person is, let me get there.
Gray glasses on, Ray?
Yeah. Born 1919 and from Crew Road, I think. And he's also a Swanee person. Yeah, should we play it? See if you recognize the you recognize the voice.
So how did you adjust to life at sea then?
Good. No problem.
You liked it, did you?
Yeah, I liked it. You're going to different places most of the time, or if you get on the state run, well, it got kind of boring. You wasn't seeing anything exciting like that, So. Otherwise, when you start moving to different ports and stuff, I was very interested in it.
So did you get to go ashore and see some things?
Yeah.
What were some of the places you enjoy going?
Well, it's places like Havana, down in Puerto Barrios, and then it was out in Colombia, Barranquilla, and Santa Marta, Venezuela, Caracas. It was,
but mostly Central and South America?
It wasn't until I went on the Liberty ship for Swanee, after they gave up the fruit business. I went across to Europe on one of the Liberty ships.
Oh, really?
Went to Belgium, Holland, and then from there we came back down to South America and loaded bauxite and went back to the States.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Now, in those first few years during the war, did you see any evidence of war activity?
Sure, when you were running that rum from Puerto Rico there, in fact, when the Columbus ships got torpedoed.
Oh, really?
And then there were all these tankers running ashore along the Florida coast, they're burning after they were torpedoed and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of that. Seen quite a bit of that.
Now, was that worrying to you? Did you think, boy, we are turned next?
Yeah, you were running around. On a ship, you couldn't use lights. You had to do that in the dark. You had to keep folks ahead watch to keep from running up in the ships and stuff like that.
Yes, that would be very dangerous.
And we were very small. I mean, we were small considered some of the bigger boats that were out there. And
so you'd really have to strain your eyes.
Yeah, in the dark, but that was. Yeah, you wouldn't were allowed to use no running lights, no solid light from the deck at all. On the kind of submarines.
But if the submarines would have been able to hear you, probably, would they?
But yeah, they picked up the sound like propeller and stuff like that.
But you didn't ever get torpedoed?
No, lucky enough.
That was scary. So then this Liberty ship now, the Liberty ships were ships that had been built by the United States to help out.
Yeah, they acquired this ship. This is after the war. Now they've got this ship and we're running this Lend-Lease material to Europe.
Yes.
So we went across with a load of that. See.
Oh, I see. You were taking the Lend-Lease stuff to them.
Mm-hmm. That was after the war.
And what sort of goods would that be? What kind of material?
There were pipes, oil pipes, and cars, trucks, and different pieces
things
of
to help
machinery.
Europe rebuild after the war. And Swanee had bought this Liberty ship, or?
I think they leased it. I don't think they bought it. I guess they eventually, but yeah, I think they had at least at that time.
Now, those Liberty ships were they good ships?
I wouldn't say they were good ships. They were built in an emergency. I mean, there was a rush job building them to get this material across to Europe during the war. And they were not that strong, I don't think.
I read somewhere that some of them were very difficult to handle.
Oh, yeah.
That they were sluggish to the wheel. And
they weren't very fast either, I know. Yeah. But they did the job apparently. They lost a lot of them, I guess.
Now, and you stayed in the engine room. So the winches and things on the deck, that would be for loading and unloading?
Loading and unloading at Liberty ship.
And you had to make sure that they were working properly.
That's right.
That would be important. So then, how long did you...
No, I was, I should have told you this before though. During the time I was on these smaller boats, I'd been up from oiler to chief engineer on that.
Oh my.
So when I went on the Liberty ship, then I had to take the deck engineer job, but that's all I had open. I couldn't go chief on the Liberty ship at that.
Why couldn't you go?
Because they were different engines. There was steam engine. I had license for diesel engines.
Oh, I see.
So I couldn't go on that.
Now, to get your chief engineer's license for the diesel, did you have to write an exam?
No. We were still on the Honduran flag, so we didn't need that. We just got that from the council on recommendation from the company. Actually.
I see. They said you know enough about it, and they told them, wrote you a letter or whatever, and you got that license. But when it came to the steam engines, now that was a different story.
That's a different story. The bigger ship and the bigger engine, more horsepower and all that kind of stuff. So you would have to set an exam for that.
Yes. So did you ever bother with that?
No, I didn't. No.
So after the Liberty ship, then what did you do after that? When you went to Europe?
They had converted some, what they call LSTs. There's some naval surplus ships. They had converted them to bulk carriers. And I joined the Macala, which is one of those that was converted, and we're running bauxite then from Trinidad, from Dutch Guyana to Trinidad. Just shutting that back. So I stayed on that for a while, quite a while. In fact, I came home and got married and went back and rejoined one of those ships up in Trinidad.
Is this still with Swanee, or is this
still with Swanee? Yeah. And I stayed up there until around 54. I worked up there at that time, 54. Then during that time, Jenny came up to she stayed in Trinidad for a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Almost 2 years she was up this way. Catherine was born in Trinidad.
Ray?
I hope you don't hate me now.
But if you don't know, that was Miss Janley's husband, late husband, Mr. Clifford. And so I think he was just there to verify some of the information she gave. You okay?
Thanks, Ray.
He's a sweet boy. Eh?
Oh.
All right, well, Ray. What do you want to take the call?
I think we'll take the call.
All right.
Miss Janley.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Hello. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello. Yeah, I would just like to give my opinion. I just appreciate this show so very much. Yes, I'm a young Caymanian, but I'm enjoying it very much. So thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, and thank Ray specifically, because honestly, I'm just here for the looks, not just kidding. Ray does all the heavy lifting. No, but thank you so much. I mean, we have such a wonderful history, and we don't.
It is.
We don't know it. But thanks very much.
Just scratching the surface.
My dad is much younger than Mr. Paul, but he traveled. He met on C2, so I appreciate it very much.
All right. Thank you.
He was. Can you say he was on Swanee also?
I don't think so. My dad is Samuel Abel Paris, so he's much younger than Mr. Paul. So
okay.
I think he travels on National Boat Carriers and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Appreciate that info.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Captain Paul?
You remember who the name? The name? Paris?
No. Samuel Abel?
I know what you talk about, but I say some of his brothers was with Swanee. Daniel and Andrew Power was there. Daniel Power, Harvey Ebanks, Jesse B. Yates, Charles Cabell Glidden, Captain Charles Glidden, we call him Charles Hart Wesley, and Harvey, and Karen von Bawden, and J.B. L.B. Bawden it was, Mr. Lee Rollin, Rayburn Farrington, poor Sherlock Farrington, Captain Curry. It's one guy from West Bay. He was chief mate on the Truxton. He left here, Joseph Ebanks. He left here in 1939, never came back. He worked for Spawn a long time. Good. And Edward Banks was my mentor. Patton Hyde, his brother Joseph, we call him Dodie. Captain Curry father, he was a steward. Uncle Johnny, we call Johnny Banks, and Waldo Banks' brother. I can't remember his name. He was a steward on the Warden. I know a lot of them by the nickname. It was a guy from the son they used to call him. He used to be on the Whipple. He's a Bawden. I know. So many that I.
Raleigh's wife, Paul Corrine.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to remember her name last night for hours.
I just hit you.
She was also in Trinidad with us when we were there.
That's right.
Rob was on the same ship with.
Yeah, John of Bothwell, Charles, his brother Charles, Henry Parson, Osler Parson, Freighton Parson. It's impossible to remember. Dollarman Parson.
I think we're putting a dent into it, and I think once you got that core of people, then you can you can spawn different names and some people from it. But it sounds like a ton of people.
So when we come back from the break, then I think Miss Janley can share some story.
She's recovered.
All right. Well, we're going to hear that when we come back.
I heard it by the T-shirt.
Yeah, the T-shirt. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
In order to facilitate the live street food festival tomorrow, Saturday, September 21st, Cardinal Avenue and Albert Panton Street will be closed from 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. today through Sunday, September 22nd. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. Russia says a North Korean fisherman detained on charges of poaching in the Sea of Japan has died in custody. He was one of 6 men injured while resisting arrest, a senior Russian border guard official said. Some 161 fishermen in total were detained this week. Russia says 3 guards were wounded in a clash before 2 North Korean vessels were seized. And a film about scheming strippers starring Jennifer Lopez has been banned in Malaysia because of its excessive obscene content. The country's film censorship board said hustlers' naked breast, erotic dances and scenes featuring drugs made it not suitable for public screening. Square Box Pictures, the company distributing Hustlers in Malaysia, confirmed the ban on social media. However, the film is currently riding high in both the US and UK box office charts. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. You know, as I was listening to both the clips, one thing, and if our guests don't mind, I just love the way our people talk. Right.
Which one? Hold on. Which one?
No.
Which district?
Both. They're distinctive. All both of them? Well, all both of them. All of them. You know, Miss Johnny, you're an educator, and there's no question, but we have a particular diction and dialect. There is a fondness and familiarity.
Few of them.
Yeah. But there's an endearing spirit, and then listening to both Captain Paul and Miss Johnny today, it's remarkable. And that young lady, if she doesn't mind me referring to her as such, yeah, she says she's a young Cayman and she's enjoying it. To sit here and to listen to you, to just see the two of you, makes my heart full. I feel great. So thanks very much for coming over this afternoon with us. And Ray, I know you get embarrassed easily. He's the first, but people need to understand the amount of work that you put into this. I mean, just being able to, get both Captain Paul and Miss John Lee too.
I would say if you love it now work, but then they don't pay you if you say that. So.
Well, you love it, but you work hard. So, but thanks. You would have set us up for this story now, because
Yes. One of you said while you were over there in Trinidad, you got to go on the boats with your husband, or
on a boat.
On one boat. Was it just one trip, or was it?
No, it was 3 times up the river, Mongo, from Trinidad to Guyana.
Now, just to set it up now, how often would that happen, like the wives? Was that an option? Or did you have to go tell them, I'm getting on this boat?
Well,
okay, what you say?
I know Raleigh's wife, Corinne, she had been on the boat. It wasn't customary, really.
No. Okay.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. How you manage that, though? Just because you were over there? Go ahead, take it away.
Because she was a crew member on the ship. We wasn't allowed to carry passengers, so she...
I was listed as a crew member.
She was listed as a crew.
So were you a wiper oiler?
The steward.
I was in the bedroom, in the cabin, locked away every time my husband had to go and watch.
After
that, then, well, we roamed the decks and enjoyed the scenery up and down the river.
So hold on. So if we go check the records now, so what are you officially listed as?
She would be a steward.
A steward. Okay. So you were a steward on what boat? What can you remember the title of it?
The Samana.
Paul, you're correct. But last night I was thinking of this whole trip up the river. And that part of it, something that kept coming to me, but how did you get on to that? Because Gladys was there with me in
See,
Trinidad.
we're the bad ones,
But then
you
she
see,
had
so.
two children and all that. Jewel and Marie were very young, and I mean, she wouldn't have been able to go on the boat with them.
Because
So-
the accommodation was not very good, you know.
Can imagine on those old boats. So okay, so you got onto this one, the Samina, is it?
Samana.
Sorry, that was Dwayne gave me that information. And what was you had any notable things happen on that trip? And it went, and that's up.
It was enjoyable, up the river and back.
This is still Trinidad, or this is
Trinidad to Guyana.
To Guyana.
And back. Trinidad to Guyana and back. And on one of the trips up,
And you were shoveling bauxite, I think.
Yeah.
That's what you were doing, yeah.
Yeah.
as a part of the crew.
Well, as always, on going up, the river was very narrow. The river Mongo, it was called.
Mongo River.
And I remember that every time we back and forth, there were always, especially like younger girls and boys in a canoe, like on the banks of the river, you know, just paddling and waving and excited to see civilization.
People.
Because they were really...
They wasn't clad very well.
No, they
This would
clothes.
be the Amerindians.
They
This
didn't
is
wear
the
any
native.
clothes.
No.
This is the Amerindians in Central America.
Yeah. And I remember throwing my T-shirt, and I love that T-shirt so well, but, you know, I got overwhelmed, so I threw it overboard so she could catch in her little canoe.
So now tell us how you just say you got overwhelmed. Why was that?
Because I saw these little young girls naked, and I mean, they look so relaxed. They paddling their canoes.
But they were naked.
I'd never
And
seen
they
them.
just didn't know they weren't supposed to be naked.
No, they didn't.
They didn't know that they didn't have any clothes, I guess, or they wouldn't have been like that.
And then so what did you do? You said you were so overwhelmed that what happened?
So I threw this T-shirt over. On the way back, there's my T-shirt on a pole in the canoe. The said child waving like
a flag.
My T-shirt was a flag for her that day. I often wonder how long, you know, she...
you might be able to go back there. I'm pretty sure they now wore it.
She probably passed it on to another, her child or something.
It was a striped T-shirt or something, you said.
And this is the early 50s, right, Miss Johnny, as you were sharing earlier.
And that's a experience going up the Mongo River. Because it's a place, a bend they call the Hairpin Bend.
Yeah.
You actually turn headed right back where you come from.
Wow.
My first trip up the dredge stood out a bit, but they used to have a tugboat to
get you past that point.
Yes, to help you to turn around. And the trees was hanging over the river, and we had 2 monkeys on board one time, and Jake and Jack, and but when the ship go up in the side of the river where the breeze, they run on the other side. They didn't want to go back over in the jungle anymore.
I thought they had came over, just dropped over.
When we got to the mines, oh my gosh, that was the most boring thing for me. I mean, my husband would have work to do and all that.
The bauxite mine. But see, then that's why you had to do the steward. That's what you're supposed to do, all that steward.
And it was so hot. It was hot, and you had to bar up everything because of dust.
And this is in Guyana at this point, right?
That's
Guyana.
Yeah. Up in Mongo.
This is Suriname.
Mongo was the name of the place.
Cool. And that's bauxite mining they're doing now.
Yeah.
In the 50s. So that just tells you, like, all the different experiences. Like, we think of all the traveling that we do now. We're supposed to do all this travel. But I don't think people appreciate just within the Caribbean, going from port to port to port, how different that could be. Like, basically you're going different worlds. You got different languages, different people, different customs. I mean, it's like we go BRAC now, and there's certain things you can't do in the BRAC that you do in Cayman, things like that. But just T-shirts.
Yeah, okay.
So just stuff. I mean, can imagine the experience how conservative Cayman was in the 50s. I mean, there's Miss Charlie looking at this poor girl naked, and she's like, "What? I don't." Can you just imagine
but it showed.
It was really an experience for me.
For all of us.
It was a lot more for them because he didn't tell you all about Port Barrios.
Oh, we still have some time in our Captain Paul.
Should we hear about that, Michelle?
Port Embarrass?
Port Embarrass.
I used to put cotton in my ears, and my husband would tell me all these things.
Oh, yeah. Port Barrios was trying to force
the
them.
men are elected.
It never closed. It was open all 24/7. It was a bar there, the Manguito. A lady used to run Sarah. It was her name. Not that one.
I thought
You mean you had two
Sarahs? You're not supposed to name no names, right?
Two Sarahs? I didn't know that.
I think
I knew of one Sarah.
Yeah, but this she was
statute of limitations. Am I trying to think?
She was she owned the bar. And but because if the ship leave you in Port Barrios, you were going to jail. Several came on, but she would always come and bail you out. She always go. What she
clients or what?
No, if you didn't even go to her bar, and she heard that you was Cayman, she would come and.
What kind of what was the thing behind that?
I didn't like the name Sarah, but I didn't know there were two.
I got stories similar to that. Who's this one? Who's this one? I didn't know about this one.
Sarah was yours. Huh? She was yours.
No. She was much older.
She was to say break. I think. Listen, is it my exaggeration to say that 90%? I think 90% of the seaman stories don't get told.
Yeah.
I think so. They
don't get registered.
They really wouldn't want them to be told.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Wow.
No.
I'm just listening.
No. Do you want to listen?
Oh yeah.
Okay. A witness?
No.
But it's a reason for all of these things. But traveling around like that, you have to make friends with somebody, because if you just never know when the ship going to leave you, or you leave the ship, because you always leave the ship. And
but get back to that. You said the lady, if you came in, they would bail you. What was the story?
No, she would bail.
Yeah, she would bail you out.
She would bail you out.
What's the benefit? I'm trying to think if there's any financial benefit, or is just goodness.
It was just goodness of her heart. That she
it's the heart.
She would be well. Then she gained a customer, because she knows next.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
Next time you would always go back.
She's almost like a bail's bondsman.
Yeah.
No, but before we go to the break, though, something that I have always got a perception from speaking with many different seafarers, and even in some cases the grandchildren, or even the great grandchildren of seafarers who are now living. Primarily in the U.S., and it seems that yes, we probably embellish the stories. Yes, we probably think and recall more fondly than maybe what it transpired. But it seemed that the Cayman seafarer, despite the sort of skirmishes that may have occurred in the bars, they were endearing, they were personable, they were warm, inviting, hospitable, jovial. They were willing to enjoy.
And I think too, repetition, like a keeping their word.
Yeah,
so if, like this lady bailed them out, and you said, "Well, next trip you gotta come pay me," type thing.
No, she did not request any payment.
There was
most natural. You would give her something or something.
Yeah, that's what I. But see, that's what I mean. Though.
But there
she
was
knows that you would get.
But you honor that there's a word, there's a bond. There's also this level of respect for humanity, and it's interesting. Maybe with that I'll be mindful, but let's go to the break. When we come back, we can hear more stories. I don't know. Stay tuned.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Good and cleaner.
Puritan Cleaners, serving the Cayman Islands for over 60 years. Take advantage of this fall special from now until 31st October, offering owners special 12% off all prepaid orders, $20 and up on all household items, plus ladies and gents apparel. This offer is good at all our stores. Savannah Countryside, 946-1884. Elgin Avenue, Georgetown, 949-2452. Eastern Avenue, Georgetown, 949-7104. Drive-through, rain or shine. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
Cayman, get ready for this year's 2019 Fidelity Fun Run Series. Join us opposite John Gray High School for the first 3 Saturdays in September at 7:30 a.m. for an exciting 2-mile run. Whether you're a serious competitor looking for a fun family activity or you want to take an early stroll, the Fidelity Fun Run Series is the event for you. Strollers and pets are welcome, and we've got trophies up for grabs as well. Register today for the races on September 7th, 14th, and 21st. And get your Fun Run t-shirt. To register, visit CaymanActive.com for more information.
Hi, my name is Neraya LeBlanc. I am the minister and evangelist to the West Bay Church of Christ on 24 Batabano Road. I would love to take this opportunity to invite you to experience God's family at West Bay for yourself. We are a caring congregation that strongly believes in reaching out beyond ourselves to spread the gospel of Christ. We also take great pleasure in ministering to the needs of our people in our community. As God's called out kingdom people, we are in the business of transforming lives for the Master's use. For more information, you can visit our website at westbaycichurchofchrist.org or call us at 946-9294 or 917-1809.
Declaring the word of the Lord. Cayman Islands Church of Christ presents Word of the Lord.
Word of the Lord, heard Sundays at 6:30 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Work will soon launch Jobs Cayman, an online system that allows registered users to access job postings created by registered employers. This system offers a better approach to facilitate Caymanians in finding employment and allows employers to search for qualified and skilled Caymanians who are seeking employment. For more information on the registration process and what you need to register, visit www.worc.ky. Work, leading the pursuit of full Caymanian employment and economic prosperity for all through service excellence.
The Breeze Fusion is back Saturday, November 2nd.
Bigger and better.
Now featuring a 5K walk run and a 10K run for half marathon trainers. Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCVO. Save the date or register now at CaymanActive.com or at Radio Cayman Studios. Registration is only $15 if registered by September 30th. And all early registrants enter to win a Cayman Airways voucher.
The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Saturday, November 2nd.
Did you know that once properly sanitized, some tinned food items may still be safe for consumption after coming in contact with floodwater? In order to properly sanitize these tins, always remove labels and then wash tins in a strong detergent solution using a brush to get rid of excess impurities. Tins must then be immersed in a solution made of 2 tablespoons of chlorine bleach per gallon of water for 10 minutes. Ensure that containers are air-dried before opening. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit the DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Good afternoon, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you all for listening equally. And as Ray Banker shares, if you're able to,
how you know they're listening equally? Somebody could be like getting a little bit more than the other one's going a little bit less.
Okay, thank you equally for listening, not listening equally. How about
that?
Semantics. All right, Ms. Johnny Clifford, I see you did a good job in grade 5 with Ray. Thank you very much. He's paid attention.
Thank you. It was good.
I don't know where that happened. I got some memories of prep school, right?
All right, and Captain Paul House on equal. It just reminds us of how we don't really look at what we have, and something that Dr. Steve McField said the other day, and I hopefully we don't dismiss it. he talked about those of us who look at history and as revisionists. We want to revise things so that the narrative sounds better for them, or somehow, I don't know, sucks up is the word I use to others. Let's celebrate. We have a beautiful thing, man.
It's like genealogy too. You try to clean up your tree. You don't want clean that one and this one you want clean. It's to me, it's just everybody.
We have a lovely history. It's just that the majority of people, history. That word history, it turns them off.
Yeah, man. It's wonderful, and
but it's my thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's really, Ray makes it come by.
I don't look at his history. I look at his future, because if you look back in the past, you see what's going to happen. I mean, you see all the stuff.
Exactly.
You know that what's happening here is kind of temporary.
But even this discussion, people probably don't think. Well, no, I rephrase that. Thankful there are some who recognize it. Just with the greatest respect, both to you, Miss Johnny and Camp Paul, just coming here today, taking time out of whatever you're doing and making time to sit with us. Just sit in here and have to endure the company of me alone.
It's my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. And then having Ray too. I use the word curate. I don't know if that's the right word, Ray, to bring it all together.
I hear people using it that don't, so.
Yeah, and it's a lot. I mean, I joke about Sunday and I say, okay, Ray, time to go. But he wants to make sure, listen, it's only Friday and today.
When did this happen? Let's see if I come check you, help you anymore. Bible call me after. You see this?
Well, you told me. What did you say?
You go on. You go on.
No, I just say this publicly, man. I really appreciate the work.
You better say privately.
He's not going to go to the beach Sunday. He's going to wait for you.
Oh, no. I leave on Sunday. No, but as we look at the time, Ray, we've got a lot. We haven't even got through a third of the stuff you had. But go ahead, take us there. What next?
Where you want to go? I don't know where to go next. Where you want to go? I just saw where we Camp Paul, the location of the Swanee company. It was in Jacksonville, Florida, and like I said, I came across it, the address, foot of Catherine Street. Jacksonville, Duval County, Florida, on the St. John's River, right?
Right.
Yeah,
that was their first office. It was just in a warehouse. It was just a warehouse. And then they moved to Commodore Point, a little block building, brick building up in Commodore Point.
And then why they did that was because Mr. Lovett owned the Commodore Point terminal. Yeah. He owned it. So that's why he went there in Jackson. And he's a native of Jacksonville. He's a Jacksonville native. And then after that, you said the third one was 1010?
1010 East Adams Street. The old Army.
And that's still Jacksonville?
It's still Jacksonville.
Okay.
But as you were sharing, we don't put you off,
You always...
Mr. Clifford...
I just don't tell you I'm so nice.
Okay, good for you. Mr. Clifford was saying that he sailed through Swanee into Europe as well. And then Ray, you were sharing with him earlier.
Yes, all the different ports.
Right.
Different ports.
Oh, yeah. And people don't...
Let me get my notes. Thank you, sir.
See that?
The first time I seen snow was up in Walton, Nova Scotia, a little mining town up at the Bay of Fundy.
Wow.
And that was Saturday night. We were loading barytus, drill mud, they call it barytus, in bags like cement. And it was snowing. I had to put the tents over the hatch so it didn't get wet. And we had to, as soon as that hatch was finished, we had to come out and cover that up. And it was a Yugoslav captain and chief mate. And we couldn't even get, at midnight that night, we couldn't even get a cup of coffee.
Why?
What? I've seen some tough times. Which another thing with Swanee, when the little banana boats they had, they could West Indian crews could manage them. When they got the LSDs, they had to be Europeans or somebody like that. Until they started to go bad and all kinds of stuff. Then they put the Caymanians could work on everything. could be chief engineer again. Yeah. Because my first third mate job, I didn't have a license, of course, but it was an old drunken Norwegian, Mr. Henriksen. I'll never forget him. One day we were taking bunkers and we used to take fuel back for the power plant in Suriname, in Dutch Guiana, Suriname. So this morning we were down in Point-à-Pierre. I was on his watch, 48 watch, and he come out there all gassed up. And he came up and spoke to me, and he didn't talk much. He said, "Oh, Venus is bright this morning." I said, "Yes, sir," and I start. I point out a couple more stars, and he said, "You know?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You." I said, "Well, I know a little bit of navigation. I studied it." He says, "Oh, God." He went up to the captain. Captain was a Dutchman, because we were short of a third mate. They were running 6 and 6 watch. 6 on, 6 off. And he said, "I'm not running. We got a man here who can do this watch." So it was an old drunken Norwegian that gave me my first break.
But that was just to relieve him, or what?
No, it was permanent. I because we only had a chief mate and a second mate. Was short of a third mate. But see, the captain was splitting the wages between. He was reluctant to give up that little extra money. But this old Norwegian, he insisted, Mr. Hendrickson, I never forget him.
Now, you just brought up something I was going to ask you. What exactly is bunkers? It's not my family.
Fuel.
Fuel. Why do they call it bunkers?
That's a maritime term.
Bunkers.
Bunkers.
Okay, anyway. Stores.
The provisions of food.
Food.
Yeah.
So just if you got produce or something like that, it's considered stores.
Stores.
You take on board most of non-perishables.
No, it meats and it's a whole thing. The whole thing is stored.
Right. And so then the one cargo was cotton, one is cotton seeds. I think that's to where was that going? Maybe to Mexico or somewhere. What cotton seeds were used that for? Not that you're an expert in things.
No.
You said something you didn't even know what you were carrying.
No, of course not.
What about bauxite rum? I noticed you put that down in the notes.
That's not
bauxite rum.
Well, it's not.
Listen, that's half an hour before. That'll be some bauxite rum. I just thought of pine wood. Pine wood is just what. Hold on, Pine. What is the boat or the one? Boy, I got some notes. I got to talk to the other Ray that wrote this. Oh yeah, one of the things was rope to Russia.
Rope to Russia.
Rope to Russia.
Huh?
That was, I think, CB. They Mr. Bodden.
That's probably Manila rope or something.
But even that was one of the ports that.
So we go to some of the ports now. Like I said, Jacksonville was the home port. And I said at the peak of Swanee, the owner Lovett had a world map in his office with all 19 of his ships that he had at peak, 19, all over the world. And some of the ports: Honduras, Santo Domingo, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Baracoa, which I think is a Taino name. It might be for barbecue. Might be something similar to that.
Barranquilla, Colombia.
Colombia's in there, yeah. That's one of my voice to text couldn't pick up. Curbaleta. Moving right along. I think that's Trinidad. Curbaleta.
Cubierta?
No.
Is that where the port was?
At least I never heard that before.
Is that where they did the training, the naval?
Shakarama.
Shakarama. Okay. Let me scratch that off of my, what we call it. Panama, Mobile, Baltimore, Delaware River, like I talked about, Philadelphia, Texas. There's a Mexico port in there. San Francisco, Ting Chau. Is that how I pronounce that? That's China. And now Ping. Oh,
speaking about China, let me give you this before we go. During the Korean War, an American ship loaded ammunition, some part of the United States, and carried it delivered it in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Swanee ship, the Mitchell Palmer, picked it up and carried it to Hong Kong. A British ship came alongside the Mitchell Palmer, pulled down the British flag, hoisted a Panamanian flag, and took it to Ray, China.
So that was a little.
That's how these things work.
Well, thanks, Paul. I learned something today too about Hong Kong and Swanee.
Yeah, they went all over the world. That's fine.
Yeah, he went. The same Mr. Borden. They went to Kamchatka.
Arne Borden was a radio operator on those days on the Mitchell Palmer, and the late Sherlock Farnan was. I got a story from him. From Sherlock, he was on. The two of them was on it.
What year would that have been? Like in the early 40s?
In the 50s.
50s? Okay.
51.
So after
51, 50.
So during the Korean War then?
During the Korean War.
Okay, yeah, that's what you said. Okay. Interesting, eh?
So, okay, I'll continue with some of these other ports. 6 ports in west coast of Canada. Crofton, Chemainus, Vancouver, Westminster, Victoria, and then in Australia, Port Adelaide, and then New Caledonia, which means Scotland, Noumea. Okay. Honolulu, Hawaii, Boca Grande. Where's that? And then Bahamas, and Puerto Barrios, Guatemala,
Barranquilla, Colombia.
Thank you.
Santa Marta.
Yes.
Oh, we never got that one about the Santa Marta. The Grand Manan sank alongside the dock in Santa Marta. That was Swanee. Maca Powell's father was lost and got drowned on her.
In port?
Yeah, alongside the dock. She was an old laker, and they loading bananas. She caught up on some of her. Captain Temple Ebanks was captain. Vincent Garvin was chief mate. Who else was on there?
But he was the only one that died. Maca Powell's father.
Yeah, Joe Smith. He managed to crawl out through a porthole.
Just in the harbour.
Right alongside the dock.
So you think you're next to the dock and you think you're safe, but you're not really. And that was when I was doing the research. That was mostly what I found to do with Swan. It was court cases, and they always fought it.
Of course. I had one with myself, and I went to the Southern District Court in New York 3 times for the Daytona case.
And Daytona was a Swanee also?
Yeah.
That's the one that you almost...
got 6 to 7 days, missed her by 7 days.
And she sunk, all hands lost.
All hands lost.
My husband was on the Daytona too.
Wow.
See, like you said, some of the stories never get told.
Yeah,
and
you got burned out with one. How many?
I've been on fire. I've been in collision. I've been aground. I've been in many hurricane storms, and I'm still here.
The old man to see.
But you're not sure if you can survive the roundabout.
No.
I pray so.
Even if the young boys of today got the opportunity to go to sea, it would be so different from those days.
Yeah.
What do you think some of the differences are now?
I don't know, because it's been 30 years since I've been out.
But I'm sure it would be different.
But
the electronics, paper stuff.
Touch button, everything.
And not only that, but the administration, because the captain, they only have him there now because they have to have it, but everything is micromanaged from ashore. All this communication, they tell you what to do. Because I still believe that you remember that accident I had up there in the West Coast, Elso Valdez. If the captain had been allowed to anchor his ship that night and got some rest, that would never happen.
There's more pressure on your time. The timelines and stuff.
Everything that you have to. If you want to go to the bathroom, you got to get permission from the office.
I know how that feels.
It's already working now.
Yes.
Well, Ray, this is where I think we realize how much more there is. But thankfully, more people are taking an interest. And as Ms. John Lee shared, it's not just history. It is, as you said, Ray.
See, I personally like all those stories, though.
Yeah, me too.
Ones that don't make it into the book necessarily.
But it's one thing I would like to say before I leave here, is people should, when somebody's trying to tell you something, listen. The darndest fool can give you a good one. I hate to say this, but the Daytona sank because a good friend of mine wouldn't listen. Wouldn't listen to me. Because her hatchet was 40 feet long, 20 feet wide. We ordered new tarpaulins for the hatchet. When I told my friend, put on a couple of foot on each side, because you can always double it when you couldn't.
Get more than what you need.
He wouldn't do it. In the summertime, we were running up to get the Bay of Fundy, Canada. The wind was out from the northeast wind. We used to tuck in the starboard side and leave the port side. It wasn't enough. This trip, the wind changed to the southwest, and they had it tucked in. Blew the tarpaulin home, she filled up. That could have been a way. Not listening to.
Do you want to say who your friend was?
I was wondering.
Yeah, I'd say to my good old friend Sherlock Farrington.
Oh.
And me and him got on so good, but he just wouldn't listen to me.
Sherry.
So did that make it into court? That's quite official.
Well, she was in bad shape. She was thinking that she was old and rotten.
Sherlock and Astor Watler was on the same boat too?
No.
Astor Watler was
No. It was only two came on, and myself, three, myself, Sherlock, and Fletcher, Seymour Fletcher. Two came on, you went down on her.
Well, Paul, thank you. As much as we can even just begin to say thanks. And to you too, Miss John Lee.
Thanks for
having us, and call us back. We haven't finished.
Hopefully this will help with the whole idea of people not recognizing Swanee Shipping Company as a major part of our maritime history.
Need to go in there.
Yeah. All right.
History books.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, Ray, I know you sometimes, sort of take it but I hope that you'd appreciate it, man. You work hard. Everything but especially this. It's an incredible amount of stuff that he puts in. And
yeah, because I feel pressure because it feels like not enough time to tell all the stories.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're correct.
But I'm sure
we got so many.
Life is so short.
I know I won't be here
and
too
the young
much
people
longer. And
need to listen, and they don't have time to listen all the
time. This story needed to be told.
Yeah,
we just scratched the surface of it.
Right. And like I said, I didn't appreciate it until starting to do it too. And you talking like I didn't hear you heard all bulk, national bulk. But this was actually more. This was longer, 30s to 70s. Wasn't it?
Well, listen, thank you. Forgive me for seeming to be the one who, because I'm ignoring Miss Susan, and thank her for giving us almost 11 minutes extra. It could be another 4 days and it still wouldn't be enough time. But thanks very much to our listeners in particular, and take pride in who we are. This is your country that you can go back, like some of us, generations and generations, or if it's a country that you've only recently adopted. Embrace it, love it, respect it, value it, cherish it, champion it, do ways to share it and promote it, record it, and more importantly, repeat it amongst our people so that it isn't a false narrative. It isn't embellished. It's
every week or every 2 weeks, Castro would get online and get on TV and
See. All right, to listeners, enjoy your weekend as we are reminded by Mr. Loxley Banks, in the era of celebrating Cayman. Let's celebrate each day and every day. And let's make sure that the voices we hear resonate and reflect on who we are as a people. Yeah. Let's make sure that we understand, appreciate, and don't just wait till December to, show some Cayman Thanksgiving. Let's not wait till the tourist season to be hospitable. Let's love one another and be grateful and respectful. Thank you so much, Mr. Harley and Cap Paul, for sharing with us.
Can I just add too?
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for listening. And if you didn't catch the program, we're on YouTube. Radio Cayman.
All right, that's true. Yeah, keep forgetting that. All right, deliver this. Until Monday, join me start in the morning for the record. He's going to have something special for you. We'll continue that discussion on Talk Today right after the midday news. Something you probably didn't even realize you knew. Well, we'll tell you about it. Until Monday, be blessed.
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
See Wha Ah Sayin. It happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See what I'm saying?
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.